My name is Ibigoni Brown. I'm a legal practitioner. I've been practicing for over 16 years in Port Harcourt here. So I've seen when the filing of processes were done manually and before the coming of Reef Commits, where things became very easy. Reef Commits platform, I would say, became a life-changing platform for legal practitioners here in Port Harcourt because everything became easy. I can sit in my house late in the night, I'm filing documents. The height of it is the notifications I get. Once they come, if they need to respond, I just go ahead and do my response and all that. That you don't need to stay like before now, the manual way, we just come from one table to the other, one table to the other. And at the end of the day, you are not concluding on that day. But with Reef Commits, in less than 30 minutes, you're done with your filing, uploading, and the major thing is following the procedures. Once you do that, you get your results. At least we've seen the other side, and there's another side. And I would say confidently that Reef Commits is better than the manual filing. And we hope that other judicial division that have not embraced this will do this, and life will be easy for every lawyer, practicing lawyer. Thank you.
My name is Benjamin Alexander Belgam. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer since 2009. And I've been privileged to start practicing this place when we are doing the manual system. To file processes, we have to bring bulky documents down to this place. We take My name is Benjamin Alexander Belgam. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer since 2009. And I've been privileged to start practicing this place when we are doing the manual system. To file processes, we have to bring bulky documents down to this place. It take days. In fact, you have to help the registrars to be filling the documents yourselves. It moves from place to place, like close to 12 different offices. So it might take you 3 or 4 days or even a week to file a process. It's cumbersome. In between, we misplace processes, a lot of things happen until, by God's grace, the arrival of Reef Commits, when everything became automated and life became so easy. I can file with my phone anywhere I am, even on the move. Then even service for processes. Instead of printing out processes and taking bulky files to people's office to file, you can just serve them by email, WhatsApp. Every life became so easy. I'm so grateful for it. I wish it applies to Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal and the other courts. Whenever you go to the Federal High Court or Court of Appeal to file processes, you will now understand why the merits of Reef Commits. In fact, it's part of my life that every day, whenever I turn on my system on my phone, I just check notification. Notification page is what kills it for me. Anything that happens, you are notified. The movement of your files, you are notified. When it moves from payment stage, or approval stage for payments to commission stage, you are notified. When you get a receipt number, you are notified. That's one of the best features of it. It's so wonderful, and I'm happy about it.
Hello, everyone. This is supposed to be a presentation for the general public, but let me use this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of my lords present, learned senior advocates, learned seniors, and colleagues, and the viewers. Today, we will be focusing on the theme, is the court a place or a service? And my task today is to analyze how the smart courts and chamber management integrate into the court system. My name is Baribefi Tebira. Let me use this opportunity to acknowledge the fact that this is part of the webinar series which started since the 7th of August with the presentation on the smart court and court systems by my Lord Justice Ramano Shodi. The next presentation on the 14th was done by my Lord Justice Thompson, and my Lord talked about the smart court and bench services. The last presentation, but this one, talked about the smart courts and the registry services. I would advise us to go back and look through those. It will help and provide the necessary background for our topic today, which is smart courts as it affects case and chamber management. Now, before I proceed, let me also acknowledge the work of the MBA Committee on the section on legal practice. Now, they came up with guidelines for the use of AI. As a matter of fact, 4 guidelines. Guidelines for the use of artificial intelligence in the legal profession in Nigeria. Guidance note on the implementation of information technology solutions for law firms and legal departments. Privacy guidelines for lawyers in Nigeria, and cybersecurity guidelines for lawyers. These 4 legal frameworks generally guide how lawyers are supposed to use AI in a safe and comfortable manner. I would advise our viewers to go back, especially the lawyers, read those guidelines. Let me also acknowledge the works of fellow lawyers in the profession, like Law Pavilion, Mr. Emeka Albert, and Ibrahim Sule from Kano. He developed some AI tools for lawyers specifically. Now, this essentially is a leap into what the 21st century lawyer is supposed to be, and I'm deeply grateful to them. I've studied their work, and this also is an improvement on what they are doing, and I hope this presentation will provide a greater insight into how case and court management systems ought to function. So today, we will be anchoring on case management and chamber management in relation to smart court services. This discussion is very important because we are in the 21st century, and the 21st century lawyer needs to be agile, accessible, and accountable. Essentially, the 21st century lawyer is pulled in various directions. He's pulled by the past, he's pulled by the present, he's also pulled by future innovations. So in today's justice system, the role of the legal practitioner is no longer limited to the courtroom. Chambers are evolving into strategic service centers expected to deliver timely advice, track proceedings, and respond to developments proactively. On the other hand, as clients' expectations rise and processes modernize, chambers must also align with the principles of speed, accessibility, visibility that defines the 21st century legal services. This presentation essentially explores how a smart court ecosystem empowers lawyers to manage cases more effectively, streamline their operations, and build stronger client relationships while keeping pace with evolving judicial expectations. Now, the case and chamber management system in its traditional form has served as a private workplace for handling motions, reviewing files, and issuing administrative orders. The case management system was a largely manual system, and it was reactive, with limited judicial oversights over case progression. The limitations of the traditional case management system were that chambers were underutilized with manual and minimal party interactions. There was heavy reliance on physical files and a lot of interaction with registry staff. Essentially, there was no standardized timelines or proactive tracking of case files. So you occasionally experience frequent delays, adjournments, case backlogs, and there was minimal use of technology in daily operations. Now, that was the traditional system. So if we do a comparison between the traditional court and the smart court that Commerce is engaging, we can observe some differences. In the traditional courts, you had the manual case tracking system as opposed to the smart courts where you had the automated case tracking system with real-time updates. In the traditional courts, you also had paper-based documentation. Everything was paper. But in the smart court system, everything is digitalized from the filing and documentation. The management of those processes were all digitalized. In the traditional court, you had the reactive scheduling, and it was court-driven. But that's not the case with the smart courts. In the smart court system, scheduling is proactive with set down timelines. Now, limited use of the chambers, my Lord's chambers, was something that was a prominent feature in the traditional courts. But in the smart court system, it gives the judge the opportunity to use the chambers for virtual hearings, pretrial management, and all other businesses that my lords may deem fit to use his chambers for. In the traditional court system, the physical presence of parties was required in most cases, as against remote access for filings, hearings, and consultations in the smart court system. Now, in the traditional system, everything was registry dependent. For you to do anything, you must come to the registry of the court and do your filings. However, in the smart court system, that interaction is limited in the sense that there is integrated communication between the registry chambers and the parties remotely. In the traditional system, there was high risk of delays and adjournments, and as opposed to the smart court system where there were structured milestones, reduced adjournments, and backlogs. So this one is very important because during the COVID period, there were lots of adjournments, in fact, very long adjournments because of the COVID issue. So you had courts giving long adjournment. But with the smart court system, all those epidemics, adjournments occasioned by epidemics, strikes, riots are reduced because parties can attend court virtually. The traditional court system lastly had no AI support whatsoever, as opposed to the smart court system that integrates AI as part of its functions. Now, transforming case management through the smart courts comes with a lot of benefits in the sense that there is a centralized digital record system. All case files, exhibits, procedural histories are stored securely in a searchable database accessible from anywhere in the world. The second advantage of a smart court system is the automated scheduling, which means hearings, deadlines, notifications, emails, SMS, and all that are managed automatically, reducing missed dates and administrative bottlenecks. There was real-time case tracking. With the smart court system, lawyers and litigants can instantly, anywhere in the world, using their phones or laptops, check the status of filings, rulings, and case progress. Now, one more advantage of the smart court system is that it analyzes decision-making. Dashboards and reports provide insight into backlog, resolution times, and workload distribution. Then finally, a smart court system is a paperless system. There are paperless workflows, therefore eliminating the need for physical file movements, reducing delays, cost, and environmental impacts. What we need to understand about the smart court system is that it deals with the activities of the lawyer from filing to hearing, and it helps the lawyer stay ahead of all these processes. Essentially, smart court tools are transforming how legal practitioners prepare for court sessions by providing timely access to case information and seamless digital workflows. With these tools in place, There are complete case timelines, including key dates, recent actions, next procedural steps, which are readily available, helping lawyers plan proactively. Motions, affidavits, replies can be securely updated and managed digitally from the comfort of the lawyer's chambers, eliminating delays associated with physical filings. Rulings, hearing notices, and court decisions are delivered in digital formats, accessible as downloadable files anytime, anywhere. Now, this level of access and automation ensures the lawyer comes to court fully briefed and better prepared with a clear understanding of what has been filed, what responses have been made, and what actions are pending. Now, when I talk about this issue, essentially, it brings some level of comfort to me, because gone are the days when a counsel will send another counsel to court and say, go and hold my brief, or I'm just seeing the case for the first time, and in the process, force an adjournment on the court. With the smart court system, everything is in your laptop, it's in your phone. So you don't say you have not read it or you have been given file just now. The court can easily give you time, you look through it, and the case can go on unimpeded. So with smart courts, chambers have better workflow. Smart court tools transform chambers into unified legal service teams, moving beyond the limitations of traditional legal desks. These tools enable them to track the status of all matters, pending, going, and included, and concluded. It also enables the lawyers to assign tasks and court process appearances to junior associates based on real-time availability and workload. It also enables the lawyer to automate docketing, follow-ups, and client progress reports, ensuring no deadlines or updates are missed. This digital coordination transforms chambers into effective, responsive, and client-focused legal hubs. Now, we've said so much about how smart courts transforms the lawyer's work. For the lawyer to be able to catch up with that process, it means the lawyer needs to develop his own chambers into a smart chamber. Now, the concept of a smart chamber, let's say it originated in the 14th century, strictly with the Inns of Court. Nigeria borrowed the legal system from Britain, and in Britain, the chambers originally originated from the Inns of Court in London. These were more than just places of work. They were collegiate institutions, much like universities, where lawyers received training, lived, and socialized. The four main Inns of Court, the Inner Temple, Middle Temple, Lincoln's Inn, and Gray's Inn, became the hub of legal practice. The inns provided a workplace for legal education, with students and lawyers living and dining together. This fostered a sense of community and a shared professional identity. The inns had great halls, libraries, and crucially, barristers' chambers where they could work. So that was what transpired in the 14th century. The modern chamber is a little bit smaller than what it used to be, and this is because of increase in population, industrialization, and modernization. You can imagine over 10,000 lawyers sitting in one place doing work. It doesn't work that way anymore. The only time lawyers get to meet in large crowds like that is the annual general conference, where we meet only 1 week and we are done. So there needs to be some kind of standardization in terms of chamber practice to be able to catch up with the 21st century. Of course, there are a few law firms that have achieved that feat. So the smart court system provides a leverage for smaller law firms and legal practitioners to elevate their practice to a smart court system, to a smart chamber system where they can integrate into the smart courts. Now, the smart courts continue to advance. Chambers will evolve alongside, shifting from the conventional legal roles to dynamic, tech-driven advisory centers. The future of smart chambers and case management includes, number one, essentially, is creating a chamber mobile app. Now, lawyers will manage case updates, deadlines, and filings from anywhere, empowering real-time decision-making even outside the office. Now, another feature of the smart chambers is the performance dashboards. Senior lawyers and partners can monitor associates' workload, track case progress, view backlogs, and analyze performance trends, all from a centralized, data-driven interface. And thirdly, with the smart chamber system, there are predictive insights. Smart systems will leverage historical data to flag potential risks such as adjournments, hearing delays, compliance issues before they occur, enabling proactive planning. So when we look ahead, chambers will function more like agile, data-informed legal command centers, optimizing strategy, improving service delivery, and reshaping how legal teams operate in and out of the courts. So what does this mean for the chambers? It means that legal practice has advanced from reactive to a progressive and proactive case management systems. It means AI surfaces risks, deadlines, and changes before they become problems. So chambers plan instead of firefight. There is a unified, searchable matter in terms of records, and there are transcripts, filings, emails, notes, and others become more accessible and nullable and searchable, knowledgeable base. AI drafts and recommends. The lawyer approves, preserving professional judgments and accountability. Now, the smart court system definitely introduces an AI component to its practice. Now, before I talk about the AI systems, when we were trying to develop the Commerce platform as far back as 2018, the initial layout we did was kind of AI powered, semi-auto AI powered. And when the committee looked at it, they were like alarmed. I said, no, lawyers have not gotten to this point. In other words, the system we tried to develop as at that time is a vetting system. In other words, when you file your writ, file your motions, the system will be able to tell you whether you are caught by the statute of limitation, or whether you are caught by some kind of pre-action notice, or whether your writ in itself is defective and non-compliant with issues, thereby giving you some kind of streamline and guideline on what you should do, and in the process reducing the number of objections you could get in court. But it required lawyers providing more input and data. So when the committee looked at it, they said, no, lawyers have not advanced to this point. In fact, as of 2018, AI has not developed to the point where it is now. So it would have been problematic. So for the benefit of hindsight, I think the committee was right then when they came up with that idea of simply upload, because we have gotten to that point now in AI where you simply upload a document and AI will analyze it for you, unlike then where it was almost semi-auto powered. So we have reached that point where AI can actually make our work smarter and more professional. So with the Commerce, we have integrated the AI systems, and it's an AI-powered intake and e-filing system. So the smart courts and the OCL can read documents, scan them, can extract parties, dates, relief sort, and auto-filing forms. The AI-powered system can also do document classification and routing, automatically tags filing of motions, exhibits, and routes, and make them compartmentalized to make sure that the right matter and the workflow is seamless. The AI-powered systems also ensures that there is compliance validation. It checks page limits, formats, mandatory annexures, fee computations before submission to reduce rejections. When you're filing briefs in the Court of Appeal, in the Supreme Court, they will tell you your motion should not be more than 5 pages, 7 pages, and your brief should not be more than 35 pages. AI will help you do all that, and your work will come out with little or no rejections. Now, another component of the AI that we have introduced into the comics is the scriber, which is a real-time hearing support. In other words, using our scriber system, you can live transcript feeds with timestamps. You can search, highlight, copy, and copy quotes in real time for submission and re-examination. The scriber system provides an on-the-fly tagging and bookmarks, mark objections, undertakings, and exhibits as they happen for faster post-hearing drafts. The AI scriber also provides action capture for chambers. It auto-creates task lists for judges' direction, filed by and served, and also assigned to team members. In other words, when you integrate Scriber into the AI system, it makes your workflow seamless. From your minutes of meetings, your chamber meetings, if you have action points, the AI can lift those action points from the scriber and provide a perfect draft for you to file. So it has reduced your workflow. The scriber is also being used in the courts to take note of proceedings. The scriber analyzes, provides a summary, and enables you have quick glance at what transpired in the previous meeting and all that. Now, one feature that the AI system provides for us is the docket monitoring and proactive alerts. Now, real-time schedule and change alerts. In other words, the AI system provides instant notification when course list updates and matters are reassigned or hearing times shifts. The AI system provides deadline prediction and reminders. This is quite interesting in the sense that if, for instance, you are served with a motion, you are ordinarily supposed to respond in 7 days. AI can help you provide those reminders in time. Now, AI also helps you with adjournment risk signals. It highlights risk factors, missing service, late filings, absent exhibits, so you can cure defects early and on time. AI also helps post-hearing workflow automations. With AI, you can draft orders and attendance notes. In other words, AI now converts those directives into a draft order and a clean attendance note for immediate review. With AI, your tasking and diary can sync, create follow-up tracks, update the matter in your calendar, and share with the client portal automatically. Now, these are the things that AI can do for you. Another feature that the AI has is client communication and transparency. One of the problems lawyers have with clients is communication. Of course, the client will always tell you that lawyers use big verbose language that sometimes they find difficult to understand. So when you're communicating with your client, AI now can help you transcribe those processes into plain language updates. In other words, AI can summarize complex court activity into clear client briefings with next steps and dates. AI can provide time visualizations. We call it visualizations because it shows the clients where the case stands, what to expect, and the expected windows for outcomes. Lastly, we can categorize AI systems and its performance into chamber analytics such that cycle time dashboards can function optimally. In other words, the lawyer can see the average time from when he received instructions to filing and then to hearing and to decision. He can analyze those times. In other words, there's a cycle. He can determine that cycle with the help of AI. Now, the other thing that AI can do is provide a workload. It can balance tasks across the teams to prevent bottlenecks and missed deadlines. AI can also outcome trends and quality signals. It correlates success rates with preparation patterns and also guides authorities for the use of AI. Now, all this may sound like big grammar, but in essence, AI is your friend. With proper use, it can guide you into that perfect brief or a perfect chamber. You know, like I said earlier, when it comes to chamber management, there are very few law firms that have the proper chamber setup. In other words, the more functional your chamber is, the more successful you become. AI and our case management system has standardized that process so that you can achieve your goals with minimal cost. The proper chambers will have a human resources department, will have accountants, you will have your practice manager. All those personnel naturally will be eliminated if the small legal practitioner in his remote part of the country just adopts a smart chamber system that is AI powered, and his standard of practice will automatically be upgraded to that of the big firms. So AI has come to stay. So in closing, as courts embrace technology and legal practice, smart chambers and digital case management are no longer optional. They are inevitable. They promise efficiency, transparency, and better service delivery. But as we move from a paper system to the paperless system, that is the dashboards, from reactive processes to predictive tools, we must ask ourselves one pertinent question. Are we truly ready to shift from the traditional to the transformational? Or we are still managing tomorrow's justice system with yesterday's tools? That is the personal question I want to leave with us today. And I thank you for listening. God bless you.
Wow, thank you very, very much, Barrister Tabira, for that insightful presentation on smart courts and chambers and case management. I must say it was truly impactful, enriching, and also thought-provoking, giving us a fresh perspective on how justice can best be delivered more effectively, especially in your last submission with the pertinent question you asked. Are we ready for this transition? May I also use this opportunity to deeply appreciate our audience. Thank you for staying with us throughout the session. We also sincerely apologize for the network glitch that you have experienced. Our technical team is working hard to fix that. For our audience, we thank you so much for staying. Your thoughtful contributions and engagements has made this discussion even more meaningful and dynamic. We kindly ask you to take a moment to complete the feedback form shared in the chat. Your honest input means a lot to us. Let's take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll take a few questions from our audience. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Commis offers a comprehensive e-filing system for a wide range of legal documents, including affidavits. Filings and payments can be done remotely, eliminating the need for physical court visits. Users receive timely notifications on case assignments, hearing schedules, and status updates, ensuring full visibility and control throughout the legal process. Commis offers a comprehensive e-filing system for a wide range of legal documents, including affidavits. Filings and payments can be done remotely, eliminating the need for physical court visits. Users receive timely notifications on case assignments, hearing schedules, and status updates, ensuring full visibility and control throughout the legal process.
04. All right, we will
Commerce
now move
offers
on
a
to the questions
comprehensive
and answer
e-filing
segment. I can
system.
see our chat box is filled with loads of questions for our barrister, Tavira. We'll just be taking a few of them at this time. The first question here says, will the justice system completely phase out physical files? How do you respond to that, Barrister Tavira?
Well, to answer that question, I would say eventually physical files will be phased out, but we are operating a semi-automated system where some traditional courts still maintain physical files. The courts that have adopted AI systems have moved beyond physical filing system to an AI and smart court system where documents are uploaded and they remain in the cloud. So right now, it's a hybrid system, but eventually when we all have a grasp of how the smart court is supposed to function, we expect that physical files will be completely eliminated. So lawyers, judges will come to court with just their laptops and iPads or phones, as the case may be.
Wow, thank you so much, Barrister Tavira, for that very wonderful response. The second question here says, how do we ensure a successful adoption of smart court and chamber technologies?
You know, in my intro, I directed us to the guidelines, the section on legal practice issued by the NBA. I also acknowledged them for providing some insight into the practice and procedure for AI deployment. For us at Cinfores, we have ensured that the Commerce platform, which contains the smart court systems, case management, and chamber management, it adopts those guidelines and many more of international standards. So if you're using the Commerce or our case management system, you don't have to worry. But it's still important that you make reference to those guidelines. It will give you an insight as to, even if you want to adopt other systems, those guidelines will guide you on the safest approach to use. But I can assure you, you are safe with the Commerce platforms that we have developed.
Wow, that was a really wonderful response, Barrister Tavira. Okay, the next question here is saying, to what extent can enhanced chambers management help reduce delays and lower litigation costs in the justice system?
So two things. One, reduce delays, and two, lower costs. So I'll take the delays. Imagine you are based in Lagos, and under the current system, you have a case in Abuja the next day. You have to travel all the way down. By the time you come, you now discover that the court is not sitting. How would you feel? That's a delay. But with the smart court system, even before you come, you already know whether the court is sitting or not. You take an adjournment. Or even if probably you are coming, probably your case is by 9 and you take a 6 a.m. flight, and you now discover that the court is not sitting, or you now discover that there's a delay in the flight, you can opt for a virtual hearing. So that delay has been eliminated. In terms of cost, again, imagine you have a case in Port Harcourt and you are based in Abuja. You prepare your processes. You probably have to ship it to someone in Port Harcourt to help you file, or you bring it yourselves. That has reduced the cost. With AI systems, you don't need to do all that anymore. You just, from the comfort of your office, you upload your documents and you pay necessary fees. Even if you're in the same city, the commute of preparing your documents printing it out, and transporting yourself to court to go and file, those costs are automatically out of the way. The only thing AI will ask from you is the service charge, which is very, very minimal in comparison with the cost you are to pay when it comes to committing yourself from one point to the other just because you need to file.
Thank you so much for that wonderful response. A participant is asking, what role can AI and data analytics play in improving both case management and court workload distribution in chambers?
Now, one of the things we first developed in the Commerce platform for case assignment for this CJ, or the Chief Justice, or the Chief Judge, as the case may be, is to ensure that before he transfers or assigns a matter to any court, he gets to see the workload of that judge from his office, remotely, before assigning. It's the same thing with the case and chamber management system. Assuming you're a principal, you automatically, with the AI systems, you automatically know the workload of each of your subordinates. You also know their strengths. AI will also show you their strengths and their weaknesses. It will also show you their deliverables, how quickly they respond to assignments and how efficiently they do so. So AI tools are very, very important in this aspect because they help you manage your chambers effectively and functionally.
Wow, that was a really apt response, Barrister Tabira. Okay, another participant here who is very interested in digital transformations is asking to know, in what ways can digital transformation in both courts and chambers enhance transparency, accountability, and public trust in the judiciary? How do you respond?
Now, when it comes to transparency, accountability, let me start with the accountability aspect of it. With AI systems, what you file, it's practically impossible to edit it. What you pay, it's practically impossible to embezzle it. The records are clear. Okay? So, in terms of public trust, that's a different angle to it together. But if everybody uses AI, and let's say you have a case, and you just filed your address, and you upload it online, or you ask AI to access it for you, AI will be able to tell you the likely pitfalls in your case, so you can advise your client accordingly. Now, even when you file your cases and it comes before a judge, there are some AI tools that you can put in. Let's say it comes before any judge, and I'm interested. You know, one thing they taught us in law school is that you must know your judge. As in, know your judge in the literal sense of knowing how he thinks, how he acts. All I need to do is look for a similar case that the judge has handled, probably get the record of proceedings, upload it to an AI system to analyze. It will tell me what I'm supposed to expect from that court so that I know how to tailor my strategies into winning or advising my clients. So AI can help in that aspect. So digital transformation has ensured that even clients can have a better feel. Sometimes clients don't trust their lawyers. They probably feel my lawyer wants to just rush to court just because he wants to take a fee. You know, you can simply show the client what AI actually thinks about his case. And if it aligns with your thoughts, it gives you those kind of guarantees and trusts that you are on the right path.
Thank you very much, Barrister Tabira. That was a really wonderful response. Okay, another participant, this is actually one of our very important viewers. One of our very important viewers is asking, how can smart courts and chambers management systems work together to reduce case backlogs and speed up justice delivery?
Now, in terms of reducing case backlogs, well, it first of all starts with the proceedings in court, in the sense that proceedings move faster. The output of that day's proceedings also comes out faster in terms of the record of proceedings. Adjournments are reduced. In other words, if a lawyer is not able to come to court, he can opt for a virtual hearing, or if a client is, or the judge is not available at that time, he can also opt for virtual hearing. So it reduces the level of the number of adjournments. So the time lag is reduced. Now, the aspect of speeding up justice delivery also affects case backlogs, in the sense that when cases are done faster and seamlessly, it speeds up the process from the time you file to the time justice is delivered. So if a traditional system, between the time you file and the time you get judgment is 2 years, most likely with digital transformation, it can reduce that to between 8 to 12 months. And that's exactly what digital transformation does. In terms of backlogs, what we have tried to do in Rivers State was to upload previous cases, convert them into, and put them in the platform, so that it's like a migration. We migrated the old cases in. That way things can move faster, you know. So essentially, smart courts and chambers help in this process. Now, for the lawyers on their own part, that is the chambers now, it provides the necessary timelines. The AI systems you adopt will remind you if you have a motion in 7 days, or if you are supposed to file your written address in 14 days. It gives you that notification and timely information on what you should do. Now that's one. Also, it helps and improves your work. You can imagine the period you have to file probably a brief. Within 2 hours, if you use the proper AI tools, you can produce a brief. Unlike, on the average, no matter how knowledgeable a lawyer is, you can take an average of 3 days to prepare a brief, especially if you're before the Court of Appeal or you're at the Supreme Court. But that period has been reduced to barely 2 hours if you use the proper AI tools. Within 2 hours, you prepare a brief, edit it, and you are good to go.
Thank you very much, Barrister Tebere. That was a really wonderful response. We have lots of questions for Mr. Barrister Tebere, but unfortunately, at this time, we can't take all of them. But we just take this very last one from one of our viewers, who is asking, what key changes should lawyers, litigants, and the wider public anticipate as chambers management systems continue to evolve?
That goes back to the essence of these webinars, which answer the question whether the court is a service or a place. One of the things lawyers and litigants will observe is that court systems now are more service-oriented, trying to provide efficiency and transparency as much as possible. Now, those are the quick wins when it comes to digital transformation. For the lawyer, he would need to do some mental readjustment. Like I said in my presentation, there was a time when we wanted to develop a semi-automated AI system. And that was far back as 2018, when AI was not even in place. And the committee, rightfully so, said no, lawyers have not advanced to this point. So let's take it one step at a time. Do something simple. instead of imputing such number of information, just upload your documents and let's take it up from there. Now AI systems have already advanced. So all you need to do now is just simply upload the system and AI will provide all that information for you. So what lawyers should anticipate is that the law is becoming simplified, and lawyers should not be afraid to make it that simplified to their clients. The time of bamboozling clients with legal gymnastics is over. You will not lose your relevance if you are as simple as possible, communicating as simply as possible to your client. So basically, lawyers will need to do some adjustments. Number one, understand how AI systems work. Even though we now have AI, you need to understand how it thinks. You need to ask the right questions, provide the right prompts for you to make optimum use of it. And there are lots of opportunities for that, especially when you browse. You can actually study how to ask AI the right questions by giving it the right prompts so that you will get the right results. So we need to have some kind of shift. The use of AI, sorry to say, it's for the literates. It's not for the illiterate. So at least you need to have some level of understanding to be able to use the AI. So for litigants, they would need to upgrade themselves a bit. Yes, a time will come when even whether you are literate or illiterate wouldn't matter. You can speak to AI in Calabari and it will explain everything to you in Calabari. But we are getting to that point. But for us to be able to use AI well now, we need to upgrade a bit. And so basically that's what to anticipate. In terms of functionality of the lawyers' chambers, I would say that the lawyers' chambers now has evolved. It's no longer one office. The lawyers' chambers is in his briefcase, and he should be proud of it. Once he opens his laptop, that's where his chambers is. He can interact with fellow lawyers. He can see his workflow. He can assign tasks. He can also file proceedings. So things have changed, and that's what lawyers should anticipate.
Thank you very much, Barrister Tabira. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, participants, I want to sincerely thank our speaker for such a thought-provoking and impactful presentation. You agree with me? Your insights on smart courts, smart chambers, and case management have shed light on how justice can be reimagined as a service, not just a place. We deeply appreciate the clarity, depth, and passion you brought to this session. I must also say a big thank you to our wonderful audience. Your presence, patience, and contributions in the chat enriched today's discussion and made it truly interactive. It is through such engagements that ideas gain strength and meaning. Remember, this webinar series is powered by Cinfores Limited, and we are exploring the theme, is the court a place or a service? The series will run again next Thursday, so don't fail to join us. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Cinfores Limited and all our social media handles if you have not done so already. My name is Ingwari Mabel Ipalibo Osokolo, and I must thank you for joining us. See you next week. Goodbye.
The court management information Court Management Information System (COMIS) provides robust relational database. The Court Management Information System (COMIS) provides robust relational databases, digital archiving, analytics, proceedings, management and reporting techniques, which aims at phasing out the traditional pen, paper, and hard copy filing processes and procedures. The features of COMIS are e-filing, e-affidavits, e-assessments, e-payments, case/case suit number assignment and management, video conferencing, applications management, probate management, lease pendants management, virtual hearing, and so on. The benefits of COMIS are case filing convenience, anywhere and at any time, remote/virtual hearing of court cases,
This is COMIS, an easy-to-use court management information system that allows you to seamlessly process everything that has to do with legal matters, verifiable affidavits, probate management, land verification, and more. Do you have a case to process? No problem. With COMIS, you can go from filing cases to getting a date assigned by the judge and even to the virtual hearing of matters. COMIS is quick, the transactions are transparent, and since you can carry out any of the processes from the comfort of your home over the internet, it is quite accessible and convenient to use. You can either choose to subscribe for all of the services or use one service per time. To learn more about COMIS and all of our services, contact us today on COMIS, rendering efficient.